It all began with a photo, one that might have gone unnoticed on any other day, if not for the unmistakable presence of Taylor Swift and NFL star Travis Kelce walking side by side in the early morning light. No red carpet, no flashing lights, just a candid moment captured by a passerby. Taylor dressed in an oversized sweatshirt, her hand gently resting near her midsection, and Travis close beside her with a protective gaze. Within hours, the image ignited a firestorm across social media, triggering rumors that the world's most iconic pop star might be pregnant. Speculation spread like wildfire, not from any official announcement, but from the kind of subtle cues that Swift's fans, known for decoding even the tiniest of hints, have turned into an art form. The hashtag #BabySwift rocketed to the top of trending charts as millions dissected the photograph with microscopic precision. Was it the outfit, the angle, her expression? Or was it simply the way she carried herself, slower, more grounded, with an aura that suggested something had quietly shifted in her world? For longtime fans, the idea wasn't just juicy gossip. It was an emotional moment of possibility. The thought that the woman who had written their heartbreaks and healing anthems might now be embracing the most intimate chapter of all, motherhood. The lack of comment from Taylor's team only poured gasoline on the rumor mill. No denials, no confirmations, just silence. The kind that, in Swiftian fashion, often means something is indeed unfolding behind the curtain. And then there was the timing. With her monumental Eras tour momentarily paused and no immediate public appearances scheduled, the space in her calendar felt almost intentional. For those watching closely, it was more than a coincidence. Whether real or imagined, that single image changed the tone of the conversation around Taylor Swift. No longer just a headline about who she's dating or what she's wearing, the narrative shifted towards something deeper: life, legacy, and a future possibly shaped by a new heartbeat. Almost immediately, the internet exploded into debate, delight, and deep analysis, as fans, critics, and gossip columnists launched full-scale investigations into the possibility that Taylor Swift might be expecting her first child with Travis Kelce. The digital world, already trained to decode her lyrics, wardrobe choices, and social posts with almost scholarly rigor, now turned its lens toward a simple image that suggested more than words ever could. Entire Reddit threads sprang up with comparisons to previous photos, timelines cross-referenced with public appearances, and theories linking cryptic lyrics from her recent album to pregnancy metaphors. TikTok became a breeding ground for visual dissection. Slowed-down videos of Taylor on tour, alleged changes in her posture, her facial roundness, the way she subtly rested her hands on her stomach in recent concert footage. Suddenly, nothing was off-limits for speculation. Every appearance became evidence. Every silence became a signal. What made this wave of curiosity more complex was the pairing itself. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, a duo whose relationship had already sparked fascination across pop culture and sports fandom alike. Their union was a collision of two powerful brands: the emotionally driven, fiercely private global pop star and the confident, charismatic NFL champion. And now, with whispers of a pregnancy layered on top of their high-profile romance, the narrative began to take on mythic proportions. For some fans, the idea felt like a dream. Two successful, seemingly grounded individuals possibly starting a family together. But for others, the intensity of the scrutiny raised concerns. Had society learned nothing from Taylor's past experiences with invasive press coverage? Was this romantic fantasy beginning to blur the lines of her personal boundaries once again? Meanwhile, media outlets rushed to craft the perfect headline, balancing speculation with caution, gossip with plausible deniability. Phrases like Taylor sparks baby rumors and Swift seen in loose clothing dominated celebrity news feeds, while panel shows debated the implications of a pop star pregnancy at the height of her career. Would a baby shift the trajectory of her music? Would she retreat from the public eye? Or would this next chapter simply enrich her storytelling, offering yet another layer to her already expansive lyrical universe? The conflict wasn't just external, it pulsed through the very heart of Taylor Swift's public identity. A woman who has shared everything through art but fiercely guarded her private life was now at the center of an unconfirmed story that threatened to define her before she'd said a word. And through it all, neither she nor Kelce offered any clues. Travis continued his off-season training, dodging reporters with charm but zero commentary. Taylor kept a low profile, her social media unusually quiet, her public outings increasingly rare. This silence, once again, became part of the spectacle. Fans defended her right to privacy, but others pressed harder for answers, fueled by the idea that public figures owe their audiences transparency. The internet's thirst for certainty clashed with Taylor's long-established mastery of ambiguity. And as speculation continued to swirl, the emotional tension deepened. Not because of what was confirmed, but because of what was left unsaid. This wasn't just a celebrity rumor. It had become a cultural fixation, a digital storm of hope, obsession, and intrusive curiosity, all orbiting around one unanswered question. Is Taylor Swift about to become a mother? Then, just as the whirlwind of speculation reached a fever pitch, the world was hit with a moment that felt cinematic. Unexpected, delicate, and undeniably intimate. It happened quietly, almost as if by accident, during a brief appearance Taylor made while attending a private charity event in Nashville. Dressed in a flowing ivory dress that clung softly to her figure, she moved through the crowd with the ease of someone used to being watched, but with a serene stillness that suggested she had made peace with being seen. No press, no stage, no announcement, just a presence that ignited every theory anew. And this time, even the skeptics felt a shift. Photos surfaced, not from paparazzi, but from attendees who respectfully snapped distant shots. In them, Taylor looked radiant, her hand again resting gently across her abdomen, her posture protective. Travis Kelce, standing nearby, exchanged quiet glances with her, his hands behind his back, his expression unreadable but attentive. No words were spoken publicly, but the energy was different. Something had changed. The moment went viral within hours, sparking think pieces, reaction videos, and a social media firestorm that felt more like a collective emotional outpouring than a gossip cycle. Fans wept openly on live streams, recounting what Taylor's music had meant to them, and how the idea of her becoming a mother felt like watching a big sister grow up. Artists from across the music industry posted supportive messages, some cryptic, some explicit. "She deserves this joy," one read. "Protect her peace," said another. Even Travis's NFL peers chimed in, joking in press interviews, but also offering subtle nods of approval. Still, Taylor remained silent. But this silence now felt intentional, almost sacred. Not defiant, but deliberate. She had once weaponized silence as resistance during public feuds. This silence, however, was different. It was protective, maternal even, as if she was choosing to preserve this part of her life rather than perform it. Yet, with this near confirmation came another wave, one more emotionally potent and controversial. Some corners of the internet questioned whether the public had any right to interpret a woman's body as news. Advocates for body positivity and consent rallied behind Taylor's still unspoken boundaries, reminding fans and media alike that no woman owes anyone an explanation about her body. Others, however, saw the moment as a beacon of light, a soft revelation, shared not through a statement, but through stillness, posture, and grace. And in that grace, the world saw a Taylor Swift they hadn't met before. Not the heartbreak chronicler or pop juggernaut, but the woman quietly stepping into a new kind of love. A love not for performance, not for audience, but perhaps for someone who hadn't yet arrived. It became clear that this wasn't a publicity move. If anything, it was the opposite. A rejection of spectacle, a gentle reclaiming of narrative. Taylor had long used storytelling as her shield and sword, but now she seemed to be writing a new kind of story, one told through whispers, softness, and deliberate absence. And in that, she found a different kind of power. She didn't need a magazine cover or a press release. She didn't need to sing it, post it, or tweet it. She just had to be. And that presence, in its quiet confidence, said more than any announcement ever could. This wasn't a climax in the traditional sense. It was something deeper, a quiet unveiling of the next Taylor Swift. Not just the artist, not just the partner, but maybe the mother. What began as speculation about a possible baby evolved into a broader cultural moment, an opportunity to reflect on how much the public projects onto the lives of those they idolize. For many, it raised a larger question. Do we know where admiration ends and entitlement begins? Taylor's fans, who once dissected every lyric for clues about her personal life, began to honor the boundary she was silently drawing. And in that shift, a new kind of respect emerged, one rooted not in access, but in understanding. Podcasts moved from theories to tributes. Commentary turned into appreciation. Even the tabloids began to lose interest, realizing that whatever narrative Taylor was writing now, it wasn't one they could control. She had weathered media firestorms before, breakups, betrayals, reinventions, but this time, she didn't need to write a song to tell the story. Her silence was the story. Meanwhile, those close to her described a Taylor who was more grounded than ever. not withdrawing from the world, but rebalancing her place in it. She continued to write, maybe for a future album, maybe just for herself, and she spent long stretches in solitude, choosing peace over performance. The Taylor Swift who once filled stadiums with explosive energy was now finding power in stillness, grace in the slow moments, and confidence in the unknown. And that whether or not motherhood was part of her present reality, she was undeniably preparing for something deeper. A life where identity wasn't dictated by headlines, and where joy could be quiet, sacred, and hers alone. In the end, the world may never know the full truth behind that photo. The one that launched 1,000 theories and redefined public perception overnight. And that's exactly how she wanted it. Because the Taylor Swift of today isn't just an artist, a partner, or even a possible mother. She's a woman who understands her worth beyond attention. She's a master of mystery, not for the sake of elusiveness, but to protect the parts of her life that make her feel whole. As fans look ahead, many no longer wait for the next big reveal. Instead, they watch with admiration, knowing that some stories are too important to be told before they're ready, and some are best kept between the heart and the silence.